We are just clamoring. We're all over the place trying to gather everything that we've just realized. And I had a major break in the Kamala investigation, and I am stressed. I'm actually, as I said on Instagram, at the point where I personally want reparations from Kamala Harris. I actually think all of us are now personally due reparations from Kamala Harris for this book. Kamala Harris, if that's even your real name, I just want you to know that you have an open invite to the show. I am probably the only person that will give you a serious interview, and I feel that I deserve it. Truly, I feel that I deserve this interview to sit down with you and learn who the hell you are or who the hell you think you are, because it does take a lot of audacity to do what you have done. So let's just pick up with Beryl, right? That is what we have been inching closer to, recognizing that we've been lied to about Beryl. That was the big break that we got last week. And as I said, I confirmed this with relatives in Kamala's family that she lied about Beryl. That picture is not the correct Beryl. She was light-skinned, and that she had a sister named Norma. So I just kind of wanted to focus on Beryl myself, because I just felt like you get this feeling that we're so close and there's something that's in our face and we're just kind of missing it. That's how I have felt throughout this entire process. Like, Candace, what are the pieces that you're putting together here? That the picture is appearing in front of you. So I said, let me go back and just kind of write down the bullet points of the things that we know as for sure, like basically as a fact about this alleged Beryl Finnegan that we have been looking for, okay? What do we actually have as presented as fact, rather, from Kamala or Kamala's father or somebody related to her family? So here it is. I'm going to take you guys through this list. Per Donald's essay, which was published in Jamaican Global Online, we know that Beryl's mother's name is Iris, that she went as Miss Iris. Per that same essay, we learned that Iris was married to Mr. Christie, which implies, it's not for certain, that his surname could include, that her surname could include Christie. So maybe we have Iris Christie somewhere. Or also maybe perhaps that we have a Beryl Christie somewhere, because perhaps we could assume that Mr. Christie is her father. What we know as an established fact from Donald's essay is that Iris and Mr. Christie ran a cane farm near, and I don't know if I've been saying this right, but I've been saying Ainan Town, or maybe it's Enan Town. That is, again, what he put in his essay. He also let us know that Beryl's mother, Iris, was involved in the church. We then knew, per Dorothy's memories, that Beryl was extraordinarily light, lighter than Kamala Harris. And again, I confirmed that with a relative, a direct relative of Kamala. The family said, no, that is not a picture of Beryl that is put in her book, which is explosive, and every mainstream news media outlet should be reporting on this. And of course, they are not, because they are terrified of this series, because they are complicit in all of these lies. And we also know that Beryl's mother's maiden name was Finnegan. We learned this, by the way, in his essay. He writes that her name was Nay Finnegan. We're going to actually read his essay directly, because there are some things that I really want to impress upon you. And lastly, as I said earlier, we know that she had a sister, that sister's name is Norma, and that Norma was even whiter than Beryl was. That has been confirmed by relatives. Okay. Now I want to jump into focusing on what specifically Donald wrote in his piece, because I had to just keep rereading it and keep rereading it for clues until finally it jumped on me. I'm taking you guys on the journey that I have been on over the last few weeks. Donald wrote that, and I'm just going to read, quote, "My roots go back within my lifetime to my paternal grandmother, Miss Christie."
Okay, so I did a search here for Iris Christie, Jamaica. And this is what came up. Or a Miss Iris Finnegan, Allen, 1888 to 1981, genealogy. See what else come up. Kamala Harris's Jamaican heritage updated. Harris didn't lie about her black grandparents. Or Iris Allen Finnegan. This is in to 1981. Wicked Tree. Let's take a look at this one first. Snopes.com. got here? U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris published photos of herself with the woman she claimed was her paternal grandmother, who died 4 years before Harris was born. I can't continue without some kind of membership or something. Oh wait, yeah, I can. It says here that the woman died in 1960. Conspiracy theorist Candace Owens asserted that she had made an incredible discovery. Yeah. Let's see what they say. Talk about the YouTube video. Let's see. The evidence Owens used to suggest Harris's grandmother died in 1960 refers to a person born in a different year with a different last name. So it says, okay, here we have Harris's grandmother, Beryl Magdalene Finnegan, died in 1995. Let's just see what we get doing a search on the internet. 1995. (1917 to 1995). Let's see, family search. Got another one on here, Jeannie. Find a grave. Let's see if we can find a grave. Burial details unknown. Research ongoing. However, the photo of Beryl is not of her. And that the photo of Beryl is not of her. Beryl Finnegan was more light-skinned and died in 1995. Jamaica Global Online updated. Let's take a look at this. Donald J. Harris. What do we got here? Miss Christie, dressed up in her usual finery, standing in front of the home at Orange Hill, St. Anne Parish, where I spent my early years. That's her home. Back in then, when was that? In the 1950s? 1960s or something like that.
Okay, now here is the rest of Donald's piece. We're pulling this up for you if you'd like to read along. We're just focusing on the portion about Miss Iris, okay? Miss Iris, mother of 8 children too, was the sweetest and gentlest person one could meet. But underneath it was a tough farming woman who ran the cane farm at Thatch Walk near Enantown, jointly owned with her husband, Mr. Christie. She was always ready to go to church on Sunday to preach and teach about the revelations that she saw approaching the world at that time, during and after World War II, in accord with the Bible. I spent summers with her roaming around the cane field, fascinated by the mechanical operation of cane juicing by the old method, a wooden pole extended out from the grinding machine and tied to a mule, walking round and round to grind the cane. and eager to drink a cup of the juice caught directly from the juice flowing into the vat to be boiled and crystallized as raw sugar. No Coke or Pepsi could beat the taste of that fresh cane juice. It was a joy and a learning experience for me to hang out with the workers on the cane farm, see them wield a cutlass, the machete, with such flourish and finesse, listen to their stories of exploits, some too X-rated for me to repeat, and sit with them as they prepared their meal by putting everything in one big Dutch pot, cooking over an open fire in the field, and serving it out on a big banana leaf for all of us to eat sitting there. Looking back now, I can say with certainty, and all due credit to Miss Iris, that it was this early, intimate exposure to operation of the sugar industry at the local level of small-scale production with family labor and free wage labor, coupled with my growing curiosity about how these things came to be, that led me, once I started reading about the history of Jamaica, to a closer study of the sugar industry. I came then to understand its origin as a system of global production and commerce based on slave labor, with Jamaica as a key component of that system from its very start.
In the sugar plantations at Barbados, West Indies. Cutting the canes with cutlasses or machetes. And take a look here. The guy standing there in the white suit. He must be some kind of overseer of some kind. And he's quite probably British. This is during the occupation of Great Britain. Carting the cut canes, the horned oxen, which have been used for centuries, are rapidly giving place to motor transport. I don't see any motor transport in this film. Not so far. A lot of oxen. Very low budget. Looks like really hard work too. Yeah, not fun. Look at the muscles on those ladies. A lot of women. Looks like a boy there. The oxen are harnessed at considerable intervals in order to facilitate negotiating ruts and gullies in the road. I see a lot of women and children. See if there's any men doing this work. Looks like a boy, young boy. Maybe 12, 13 years old. There's a man. And there's another man. Man driving the tractor there. So here we have a motor vehicle. There's some boys, young men. I don't imagine an old person would be able to do this kind of work. It's too hard. So far, I haven't seen any men doing the work of carrying anything. It looks like the women do a lot of that. And the men guide the vehicles, take care of the oxen, it looks like. Hoisting the cane on transporters to be put on carriers to factory where the sugar is pressed from the cane. And here we have some modern technology. A crane of that time. That would be very modern. And so this is around about the 50s, 1950s. Maybe 40s, I think, but probably the 1950s. And there were some men. The crushed cane after the juice is extracted is called meagras, and is used for fuel. We've got the women here carrying baskets on their head. And that's talented. Yeah, that girl, she's got her hands up there. She must be still learning how to do it. Sugar forms a staple diet for the Negroes and makes them fat and sleek. Work is stopped for the midday meal when all the Negroes eat the sugar. And this all looks like photo ops. Probably if the cameras weren't there, they wouldn't be sitting around like that. The juice is extracted by crushing and then refined and cleaned locally. It is then bagged and shipped abroad to be further refined, finally becoming the lump or castor sugar of general use. We have another video here. This is a really short one, and see here again now, you see the, what I would guess, oops, let's go back to that again. Here, sitting on the horse in a white uniform. Yeah, that looks like another British overseer. Oxen. And we've got men chopping. So, I don't know. It seems like the men do the real hard muscular work and command the oxen, where the women seem to do a lot of the hauling, carrying the sugar cane. That's a sugar plantation. Okay, let's look here at the history of Jamaica. And we see here that during most of the 18th century, sugarcane flourished. But then in the last quarter of the century, things changed. Several reasons. And then in 1834, emancipation. Full emancipation of slaves within 4 years. Okay, let's go to the time of around World War II. Okay, let's go here. Bustamante had political ambitions of his own. However, in 1942, while still incarcerated, he founded a political party to rival the PNP, and that's the People's National Party. His party is called the Jamaica Labour Party, JLP. The new party, whose leaders were of a lower class than those of the PNP, was supported by conservative businessmen and 60,000 dues-paying BITU. And that's a Bustamante something members, some group by Bustamante, who encompassed dock and sugar plantation workers and other unskilled urban laborers. On his release in 1943, Bustamante began building up the JLP. Meanwhile, several PNP leaders organized the leftist-oriented trade union Congress. Thus, from an early stage in modern Jamaica, unionized labor was an integral part of organized political life. So the BITU, that's the Bustamante Industrial Trade Union. And here we have Alexander Bustamante. Just a little quick note here, interesting. Bustamante was revered among the Jamaicans for a lot of his work for creating unionization. And there was a Bustamante backbone, a Jamaican candy. The Bustamante backbone is named after him. It is a grated coconut and dark brown sugar confection flavored with fresh grated ginger, cooked to a hard consistency, which is said to represent his firmness of character. Bustamante was considered a buster, a champion of the common man and tough article. The candy is also nicknamed Busta.
When Kamala Harris went into the United States Senate, it was AP that said she was the first Indian American United States Senator. It was actually played up a lot when she came into the Senate. Now she's running nationally. Obviously, the campaign has shifted. They're talking much more about her father's heritage and her Black identity. This is something that's actually a conversation throughout social media right now. There were a lot of people who are trying to figure this out. He brought it up. AP is the one that wrote the headline when she first came in to the United States Senate. Didn't talk about her being Black, talked about her being the first Indian American senator. AP brought that up.
I don't understand why you keep on repeating it, why the president keeps on repeating it, why those introducing the president yesterday
George,
keep on
actually,
repeating
I'm
it.
not the one who keeps repeating it. George, you're the one that's bringing it up now. That's you.
You've done it,
I understand why
sir.
you've done it.
You've done it 3 times. Every single answer you gave me. Now let me finish, sir.
George,
every single answer you gave, you repeated the slur.
You asked me, George. That's why I'm pushing back on you now. George, you asked me the question 3 times. I responded, but I'm
and every single time you repeat the slur. That is exactly my point. You simply can't say that it's wrong.
George, so then what you're saying, and I want to get off this topic because it's not the only thing that's going on. But George, now you're saying that AP is the one that slurred Kamala Harris because those are the facts.
AP did not say that Kamala Harris is not Black. She is biracial. She is Indian. She is Black. You continue to repeat the facts and do it, but it's clear you're not going to say that it's wrong.
So here's what I would say to President Trump. The problem I have with Kamala Harris is not her heritage, it's her judgment. Every day we're talking about her heritage and not her terrible, dangerous liberal record throughout her entire political life. It's a good day for her and a bad day for us.
Are you personally okay with him questioning whether she's Black?
Ed, he wasn't saying that what matters is how she identifies as her race. He explicitly said he didn't care. One was fine, the other was fine, both was fine. She identifies as a dangerous San Francisco liberal. That's the danger to the American people.
What should she say?
Just talk about kitchen table issues.
Ignore him.
Ignore him.
This is an absolute distraction. It is an insult. It is despicable. This is a woman who is born in Oakland, California, who has declared and lived proudly all of her identities, her entire life, embracing the totality of who she is. And, Donald Trump wants to divide our country. This is the only card he's got to play, and so he's playing it. He's desperate.